Yeah, the whole lot on the
So, sir,
conversation.
we are live now. Okay. I've started the
Yeah.
recording. I'll play the music video.
Okay, done. Thanks, Joe. So this is a music video sort of that we made to promote the app, and we use it just at the start of the program to warm things up.
The pandemic has ruined business and up the job situation.
Seriously, ma'am, just don't know what to do.
Something must work out.
Let's learn the way books do it. Let's learn to collaborate. Let's be the change and make the change. Liberate people, companies, employment your way. Let's collaborate. Let's collaborate. Let's collaborate. Let's collaborate. He's a leader, big, bright, and fast. They support in every daunting task. They pitch and scout and warning and hunting. They look out for the next in line. We're running my company and building up my brand. Fix always getting prayers. They focus on the task at hand. So now my jungle's open to the rules among you. Opportunities to gain. Let's learn, grow, hunt, and play. I can work for dawn just as easily. But I do my work so professionally. I want work, but I want it my way. I'm a liberated associate on the techno highway. Let's learn the way books do it. Let's learn to collaborate. Let's be the change and make the change. Liberate people, companies, employment your way. Let's collaborate. Let's collaborate. Let's collaborate. Let's collaborate. Let's collaborate. Let's collaborate. Let's collaborate.
In the coffee mug only,
Let's collaborate.
the black one. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Collaborate Talk Show. So on my screen, I've hung. I'm not sure if you all can hear me. Maybe Jervis could say hello to me if I am audible.
You are.
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Thanks. And so this show has been going on for quite some time, and we've sort of morphed it from the Collaborate Talk Show about talking about the gig economy and the pros and cons. Then we moved it because we sort of arrived at the conclusion that whether we like the gig economy or don't like the gig economy, it's here to stay. It's somewhat like your internet, and the debates have stopped on the internet, whether it's good for teenagers, good for bad for them, good for families, whatever, because it's here to stay. So we got to live with it. And on the show today, we have two very eminent women personalities who I'd like to introduce. And I'll start off with Shatbhi Basu. She's an alumna of IHM Mumbai, class of 1980. Bar and beverage consultant to international brands and bars. Also a freelance journalist. Created Stir Academy. A lot of you will know about it. The idea to give young students skills, directions, purpose, and a career. consulted to many beverage brands, guiding them through the launch and creating their signature drinks, educates trade and consumers on hows and whys, taste profiles, nuances, and the art and science of mixology via her workshops. Her style, wit, and irreverent approach, which you will see today, makes even the most difficult to understand concepts simple. She has many firsts to her name, awarded by the President of India and the Ministry of Women and Child Development for Hold Your Breath, being India's first woman bartender, India's first platform competition and discussion on beverages, Stir, the official meet for bartenders, India's first bartending academy, Stir Academy of Bartending, India's first Alcobev book, The Can't Go Wrong Book of Cocktails, India's first alcohol-free book, The Can't Go Wrong Book of Mocktails. And by the way, you don't get free alcohol with it, it's just alcohol-free beverages. India's first generic stainless steel modular bar, host and content creator for India's first show on cocktails and more in high spirits on NDTV Good Times, the first American whiskey ambassador India from 2013 to 16. Welcome, Shatbhi, and I'll now introduce Kasturi Banerjee. Kasturi was somebody, who's going to be spreading a lot of happiness in Goa to start with, because they've got a, okay, let me introduce her and then I'll tell you about that part. So Kasturi is the founder and CEO of Stilldistilling Spirits, a banker who became a mixologist. She's now a blender of craft spirits in her own entrepreneurial venture. Prior to this, she's been the director of compliance at an MNC bank with 16 years of experience in the financial services industry. Kasturi's company has Makazai white rum and Makazai gold rum. Makazai literally translates to I want. So I want white rum, I want gold rum. And one of the great things about having Kasturi on the show and Shatbhi, but I'm going to quote from Kasturi's website, they understand the value of chasing your dreams and seeking truly rewarding experiences. And they're speaking more than rum here. And they hope that their rum reminds you that wonders, and their whole enterprise reminds you that wonders are truly possible when you keep on chasing whatever you're chasing, because that's what it does for them. So I'd like to start off with a question straight away to Kasturi. Kasturi, what possessed you to move from banker to the totally and literally unrelated industry, the Alcobev industry? What was the reaction from your close family and friends? That would be really interesting, because, you know, out here we are told you become a doctor, become an engineer, become a banker, and now you've gone and become, so if in our industry, we used to be told, you know, you're becoming a cook. So in your case, you're becoming a bootlegger. That's how the family may look at it. So what possessed you to do that? Kasturi, the voice is really breaking badly. Maybe you could put off your video and try.
To see you. Hello, Dominic.
Yes.
Thank you
Yeah, now
for
that's
having
better.
me here. This is probably one of the first time. Yeah, I think I'm going to go off video.
That's okay.
Is this better?
Yes.
Much. Okay, now we lost you totally though.
So,
Right.
I was a banker, like you said, for ever. And then I quit my job in 2018. I'll talk about the reaction. I'll talk about the reactions first, because that's what I did first.
Aye.
Yeah, that's a bad line. So you were telling us about the reaction, but we didn't get
Can you
any
hear me?
of your word. Now. Now you're gone again. So let's do one thing. I will switch to Shatbhi, and maybe till then your network would warm up. Shathbhi, bartending and women. That of course the scene
Just
today is
give
totally
me a
100.
thumbs up and I will.
Yeah. So Shathbhi,
Okay.
bartending. Okay. Each time I speak, I think she gets her line through.
Yeah. So I think my mother just recently told me after
Why is it showing that she's on mute?
No, but she can be. Kasturi, you've gone on mute, right? Yeah. Now you're this.
no,
or
no,
was she-
I'm there. I just wanted to. No, sorry. My line is bad, so I think the question went to ma'am. So I was just waiting.
No, no, no. Now it's back to you. Go ahead, since we can hear you.
Okay, sorry. Shall I start then?
Yes. So
Yeah.
you were telling us about your mother.
Yeah. So I think I will. I'll get to get to where how I got to where I got. But my mother just recently told me. So I'm in Goa, right? We are the Marcus Iram, and we launched in Goa. So my mom was here for the launch, and I think after a month later, she tells me now probably I can tell people what you do, because she was quite, trying to figure out what do I tell.
That
But
her
she
daughter
was
is.
kind. She did not. But she was kind. She did not tell me or ask me anything for about 1.5 years. But I'm glad she said that. I'm glad that she did not ask me what I was doing and did not stop me from what I was doing. That's number one. And I quite like the relief that she has today, that knowing that I left a very, very, I really say illustrious because it was career and moved into bartending. And when I used to do gigs at night, so typically, in an office, you will finish probably at 9 or 10. But in bartending, it's exactly the opposite, right? You start probably at 9. And if you're doing, big events, you finish maybe at 6 in the morning.
True.
So
So
my clock absolutely changed. My husband was extremely supportive, but he did ask, like, what is this going on? Like, what is
midlife
this?
crisis.
Like, you're going to walk, like you're coming back home at 7 o'clock twice a week, thrice a week. Because even right then I was bartending, I was extremely happy with what I was doing, but I was also not
We lost you again, Kasturi. But so what I've heard is that your mother didn't tell people for at least a year.
very certain of what to, what do I really do? Am I a full-fledged bartender? Maybe no, because I don't, work somewhere full-time. I do gigs. So will I be considered
So Kasturi, I'll just interpret what I think I heard you saying. One is that your mother finally, after about a year and a half, told people that what you do. Your husband was a little taken aback by your choice of doing gigs before you warmed up into actually making your own
No, she did
rum.
not know what to say.
Okay. And I'll come now to Shathbhi. And Shathbhi, like I was saying earlier, see, the scene today is 100% different compared to when you first
Can you guys
started
not
out.
hear me at all? Because
How did you
Correct.
feel? How did you feel being a pioneer? Was it in I'll show you attitude, like in your face, or was it more like, okay, help me out here, I've got into a new field, and be supportive of me, or either of the extremes, or was it a middle ground? What did you choose when you what was the attitude you chose when you chose to go into bartending?
Yeah, it was neither of the two. It was simply, I'm here, I'm doing a good job, and I'm going to continue to do a damn good job of whatever it is that I'm meant to do. What happens as a result is something that I will handle either way. But it was not something that I chose to do. It was something that I fell into as part of food and beverage. And therefore, for me, it was nothing spectacular. For me, it was just me doing my job. I was given a responsibility, and I was simply doing the best that I could do to make sure that I did a damn good job of the responsibility that was given to me. So it wasn't even a thought. I didn't even think that there was something different that I was doing. It's part of food and beverage, right? So it's part of what we're doing as normal course. And
When did
therefore,
you
there
start
was.
out? When did you start out?
So I started for 1 year in the kitchen, and because I had a chef who didn't
No,
really
which
want
year?
me in the kitchen.
Which year was this?
1980.
1980.
Yep.
Okay.
1980. From 1980 to 81, for 1 year, I was in the kitchen as a trainee chef. And since I wasn't getting anywhere where I wanted to be, I moved out to a standalone Chinese restaurant called Chopsticks.
Okay.
And my manager there by default said, as part of your job on the floor, you're also in charge of the bar. Means that every cocktail that's on the menu is your responsibility and you have to make it. And, so I was literally pushed there, whether you like it or not. It's only after I started discovering it, because I realized that if I was in charge of something, I had to master what I was doing. And I knew everything only theoretically. And therefore, it was that whole process of trying to understand it better so that I could do a really good job is when I discovered the whole world. And I thought to myself, wow, why did I never think of this? Or why did I not look at it? And that's how it began for me, I always had two jobs rolled into one. I looked after the restaurant as well, but I also looked after the bar. So for me, it was at every stage, it was two jobs. I never had only one job. So at every time I would be in charge of a restaurant, but I would also be in charge of the bar. So my job was to make sure that the cocktails were done right. I had to make sure that everything was perfect. And to do that, I had to study it myself so that I could become good at it. And so for me, it was never ever about help me guys or, being in someone's face to say, listen, take it or leave it, I'm here to stay. It wasn't. It was simply a question of surviving and doing a really good job. That was it. My only one purpose was, oh God, I hope I don't screw up. That was it. Nothing else.
Okay, so you said, I hope you don't screw up. Now the question to both of you, on the job, let's say, I mean, we all hope we don't screw up, but we do end up making gaffes. So how do you address that? I mean, both Kasturi or Shathbhi could take that. How do you end up dealing with failure?
Actually, it's a very good thing, failure, because it's failure that teaches you stuff. If I don't fail, I won't learn. I failed a lot and I learned a lot. And that's what made me who I am, because I persevered. I realized from my mistakes that I could do better and that there was more out there. And therefore, I had to study hard to learn and make up for my deficiencies. And therefore, I think failure is a good thing because it really pushes you out there. And it tells you that, you have to go there and make it work for you. So I think failure is good. I have learned a lot from my failures. And I think if I hadn't failed, I probably wouldn't have learned that much.
Kasturi, you'd like to say something on that about failure and how you handle it? There's a bit of a lag between the voice, between when she speaks and when you hear it. So I'm guessing.
Yeah, I quite agree with her. I think I'm a person who only when I hit rock bottom can I rise.
Okay, so I'll again interpret. You're a person who, when you hit rock bottom, that's the only time you can rise. Very bad line, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but there's a sort of a lag between when you speak
and I can hear you guys beautifully clear. I don't know why you can't hear me. I mean, I can hear you guys.
We can hear you only in bits and pieces, Kasturi. Suddenly you're really clear, and then suddenly you go into a lag where we can't hear you at all.
sort of buffering. Your voice
Ma'am,
is
that-
getting
Yeah.
buffered and then shoved over to us. And there's Carl DeCosta on the panel who, as part of this, says failures are stepping stones to success. Very true.
Yes, absolutely. I think so. Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to failure, and very closely connected to failure is risk. So there is this, see, we do a lot of training programs, and also when you talk to people, I always hear people saying, why to take a risk? My question to you all is risk real or is risk anyway present? It's like air, it's anyway there. So do you actually go out to take risk, or is risk anyway inevitable? What's your view on it?
I definitely take risks for sure. In fact, I kind of wait out, I wait out. I look at the risk and I listen to what my gut tells me about that risk. And I found that every time I do that, well, 8 times out of 10, I'm okay. And I think that if you fail twice out of 10, I think it's perfectly good. It's acceptable that you might, take a risk and not succeed. But on the other hand, if 8 out of 10 times it works out fine for you, I think risks are something that you should take because they're challenges and opportunities. So, if you don't take up challenges and if you don't take opportunity when you see it in the face, I see so many people going through life who have spent so much time thinking about opportunity, weighing pros, cons, that by the time they've thought it through, the opportunity is gone. So it doesn't make sense to me. I would rather fail. You know what I mean? I would rather fail, or I would rather get duped rather than not take the opportunity at all. So I'm okay about failure, and I'm okay about, getting, into the wrong, I put my foot somewhere where I shouldn't have, but I did. But the experience of putting your foot where you shouldn't in itself is brilliant because it again teaches you more stuff. And you know that the next time, you will still go ahead and take that risk. You'll just be slightly smarter about it. So I think risks are definitely real. And you should go with your gut.
Kasturi?
Yeah, it's all about risks, right?
One thing I like is, I'll just point out, you do like risk because we couldn't hear you and you took the risk of putting your video on and we actually heard you this time.
No, the Wi-Fi just got connected.
Oh, wow.
Brilliant! Oh, fantastic.
Maka Zai. Anyway.
I is right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So Kasturi, good your Wi-Fi is back. Can you tell
Okay,
us
you
about...
go back to her because now we can hear.
Just one sec. Just about the gigs you did at bars. Can you tell us, because it's interesting to know that before you launched Makazai wine, the rum, you worked at bars, you did gigs at bars, you were saying.
No, I did not do gigs at bars. I used to do gigs at events. Like
Okay.
Yeah. It can be birthdays, weddings, those big parties, and where they come and tell you 4 baje tak chalna hai, 7 baje tak chalna hai. I used to love them. Like I used to have a
So
great
what were you doing there? But?
bartending, just behind the bar, making drinks, pouring drinks, making cocktails.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you were bartending at parties.
Yeah.
Not in a bar or restaurant.
No,
And
so I did that because so I was learning, right? You just can't land up in a restaurant without knowing anything, right? There has to be a little process. So
Okay.
I learned the bartending, then I did those gigs where I kind of got the speed, because that's only speed, right? That's not like you have to know your cocktails, but it's more speed. And that is where I think I realized that, talking is also as much important as, there's a whole thing. You have to know your drinks, you have to know your garnishes. It's multitasking, right? You're talking, so I did that for a while. I really enjoyed. And then I was really trying to look for jobs in bars. And there is where I really think this gig economy works. I was doing whiskey tastings. I was taking sessions on manufacturing processes and all that, tiny ones, but I was doing them. So I did not have the opportunity to work full time in a bar, which is 6 days a week. And it was very, very difficult for me to go and explain to bar managers or restaurant managers that just give me an opportunity to try.
Okay, so I have a question here to you all on this word try and, people giving you opportunity. again, I'm going back to, discussions I have with people, and I find two sides of it. There are times when people say that, there are non-supportive people and people are all out to get you down. And on the other side, I find there are these people who actually make it big, and they say, there are people who are always pushing us up and stuff like that, boosting us or encouraging us. What has your experience been, especially considering both of you have tried out something, I would like to say unheard of at the time you tried it out? So what was the experience? Are people out rooting for you, or are people out bringing you down to your roots?
Kasturi, I think you should take this one first.
Sure. I think there are more people rooting for you. So the people who are trying to put you down are so few that you can actually ignore them and move ahead very, very fast. The people who are rooting for you will always root for you. Like ma'am is one of them. One of my first ideas. I still remember the table where I sat and spoke to you about. It was one of your sessions.
Yeah.
Of Baiju, I think.
Correct.
And I think we were meeting 2-3 days in consecutive events.
Yes.
I caught her and I said, listen, I need time. I need to talk to you for half an hour undisturbed, because you don't get to talk to her when she's in public, right? There's a queue of people. So then I caught hold of her and I spoke to her. I shared some ideas and we discussed. So, so for me, and I think ma'am will believe this, that the only way I could learn was to read and reach out, because I didn't have the luxury of time that, I will do bartending for 10 years, 15 years, I'll excel, and then I will figure out this. I didn't have that kind of bandwidth of time. So what I did is I read, I traveled, I went to distilleries, I saw things, I tasted, I don't know how many rums. I actually would go to friends and go to their friends' houses. Because how much, you can't buy as much, right? How much can you buy and taste? It's not possible. So I think you get all kinds of people, but I think people who root for you will help you always. It doesn't matter.
Shathbhi?
Yeah, I think so too. I think there's more people rooting for you than people who put you down. And I think the important part is when you know who you are and when you know what you want, people who want to put you down don't matter. You kind of take a deep breath and let them go and say, the famous saying, right? Forgive them for they know not. So that's my attitude. That's my attitude. Whenever I see people like that, for any reason whatsoever, this is my thing. I take a deep breath and let it go. And mentally I just say, forgive them, Lord. Because it's their loss, honestly. It's never going to be our loss. Because we know exactly what we want and we know what we're doing it for. We have good reason for everything that we do. So yeah.
Okay, so a message from you all. Let's say you look at us as your kids. Okay, both of you. I mean, look at us as your kids, and you are advising your kids on because
you,
we got
Dominic?
A lot of me. I am 18
break,
years
man.
old. I am 18 years old. I've colored my beard white just to look a little mature. Kasturi, don't laugh. Anyway, so let's say you look at us as kids, and see, I deal a lot with kids. And their parents also tend to, bombard them with, sticking to the beaten path, or, log aise nahi karte, ya aurat log aise nahi karte, ya bude log aise nahi karte, ya Indians aise nahi karte. So what is your take on this aise nahi karte? And because you all have both chosen the offbeat path, which I really love. So what would you say to them if they come to you and say, should I go off the beaten path, or should I stick to the beaten one?
Well, my first question is, why do you want to do what you're doing? If it's something that you love, something that fascinates you, something that kind of keeps you awake at night because that's what you want to do, then that's what you should do. Then you don't worry about the whys and the wherefores, and you don't worry about who will say what. Because those people who may or may not say things are not the people who are going to feed you or educate you or put you where you are. And therefore, they don't matter. What matters is, do you think you're on the right path? Do you think that you're doing something that you should be doing because you kind of really love it and you think that it's interesting and You want to study it more and more and become really good at what it is. If that's the focus, if that's how you feel about, and it doesn't have to be, it can be anything at all. It can be anything at all. Then I think that's what you should pursue. Forget about what people will say. The most important thing, of course, is to be able to show those who are closest to you that it is the right thing to do. And if you need help in convincing your family, then find the right people who will help you convince the family that you're on the right path. And you should just go for it.
Okay. So I like that beaten or offbeat is not the point. It's what you want. I like that.
Never do something because you
like
think
that
you want to be different.
And
That's the one thing I always advise against.
Okay.
Don't do it because you want to be different. Do it because you love it.
yeah, and
Superb.
to add to
Nice
what you
perspective.
say,
Kasturi?
and yeah, just to add to what ma'am's saying, I really, if somebody has to do it, they will not go and ask anybody, will I do it? They will just silently do it, I feel. And
No,
you'll
but the younger ones don't, Kasturi.
know,
You and me, yes, but the younger ones are afraid.
It'll be on
Because
Instagram
there's
if they're doing it.
tremendous pressure. There's tremendous pressure on them.
yeah,
When you reach a stage where you know that you're thinking for yourself and you're not dependent on anyone else, and you don't care a damn what they think, that's cool, because that's luckily where we are.
yeah.
So that's cool. That's really good, because really, I really don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
Honestly. I'm like,
Oh.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
for you.
read your lips on what you were trying to say. Okay, audience participants who are listening in, you can type in your questions in the QA format. Also, you could unmute your mics. Shortly, I will be doing that, and post your questions directly to Kasturi or Shathbhi when I start the Q&A. Now, one question to you all, which just came in today to me, it came on a WhatsApp or a Facebook thing. What's your view on burnout? There was this post somebody put up, that stop glorifying overworking and stuff like that. So I'm sure you guys work. It can't be an 8-hour shift, because I know the type of work that comes in. So it can't be an 8-hour shift. So what is your view on burnout? When does it happen? Is it a possibility? How do you deal with it?
Kasturi, you're the younger one and you've seen both the worlds. So go ahead.
There is burnout. It's not possible that if you work so hard, sometimes 24 hours seem less when you have to be at it. Sometimes it's a blur between day and night, right? You don't know dates, so it's there. I think few things, I don't know. A few things I really, really do, and I think kids nowadays are a little more aware than what we were. Being in alcohol, you have to be out at nights. There is drinking. If not drinking, there's tastings and tastings and tastings, on and on. So I just think I work out. I feel that I do some form of exercise, and very recently I started some meditation. I'm a very, very high energy person, like super high energy. So I think that meditation has kind of helped me a little bit. So I really think that burnout will be there, but keep some time for yourself during the day, half an hour, 40 minutes. You do what you like, then that burnout will be a little more easier to bear, I would say. But I will not say there's no burnout. If you want to do something, if you want to, she's worked in the kitchen, she's worked in the bar at the same time. Can you imagine? So, she must have been dead by the end of the day and did the same thing. But, there's satisfaction. So I guess burnout is there, but you have to manage it. Definitely take care of yourself. If you need help, if you're not feeling good, speak to somebody. Don't keep it to yourself. Whichever, physically, mentally, don't keep it to yourself. Talk to friends.
I'll come back to that, speaking to people. And Shathbhi, your take?
Yeah, I think, sometimes when you enjoy the work so much, you actually don't feel the burnout at all. It just kind of takes you through everything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you realize for yourself, you know how much your body can take and you know how it can't. So you tend to find a balance somewhere. For me, my balance was that, every once in a while, I would just take the day off or 2 days off. I wouldn't even tell people that I was I probably sometimes was only in my own room, but I would tell people I was out for the weekend. And all I would do is stay in my room, lay down, watch TV, watch 4 movies back to back, deep breathe a little bit, and I would be fine. Um, Also, spending time with some of your closest friends. It is so, so important to have really good friends, because they will take the pressure away from you, even if it's for a couple of hours, one evening, in 2 weeks. That one evening with your friends, they bring you down to earth from wherever the hell you had gone up. They kind of tell you the truth straight up and say, okay, stop, this is it. And just that time with friends kind of, allows you to let go, allows you to relax a little bit, and and you're fine, you're back up again. So I think it's important to understand yourself and your body, and know when to stop, and to give yourself that little break. That little break can be simply a day in bed, or just a drive somewhere where you go out for one weekend somewhere, drive, spend one night, come back, or spend a couple of days with your friends. Something to kind of break the monotony, break the whole stress of the work, and you'll be fine. But honestly, I still feel that when you really love what you do, your body manages to kind of find that balance somewhere. I remember having worked days on end with just 3 hours of sleep when we were doing these really big gigs. And we would sleep for 3 hours, 4 hours, and yet we would be bright through the day, full of energy. But once those 3-4 days were done, I would just sleep for a whole day. I would try and sleep for a whole day, do nothing, just sleep. So I think if you're smart, you will do this. If you're smart, you'll find that balance. If you're not smart, then of course it's trouble for you. But I think most people in the hospitality trade were smart. So even if we are slogging like crazy sometimes on the bar, just communicating with guests kind of brings you down a little bit, kind of eases you out, because you're chatting, you laugh a little bit. It kind of releases the tension a little bit.
Okay, so both of you mentioned about talking to people, and I know both of you are very techno savvy, like Instagram and Facebook. A lot of kids also listening in. So culture of putting things on Facebook that everything's all right and I'm here, I'm having fun, blah blah blah. But there's no real connection, right? And both of you mentioned about talking to someone. So who are your go-to people? How do you choose your go-to people that, this is the person I could talk to, this is the person I could download on, or, just chill with? Are they friends? Are they family? Are there some guru that you go to? What's your mantra?
Never ever. Guru? Oh. No gurus. No gurus.
No gurus for you. So who do you go to?
Different people. I don't know. I think, sometimes.
Kasturi, do you go to the monk?
Monk? Yeah.
As in the old one?
I used to.
Yeah, so you were telling us. So who do you talk to?
For different things, I think you talk to different people, right? Like, it depends on what. You usually have one best friend, one or two maybe, who are usually right. They're already some 20, 30 years old friends. Like, I think that's one set who are always there, who are also the ones, like she said, will bring you down and slam you and say, don't wear this out. You have a Zoom call today. So I was wearing the Makazai t-shirt. A friend told me, please don't wear this t-shirt out today. You have a call.
Okay.
So there are friends who do that. And then sometimes there are work buddies, right? So then you go to some other people, some other trade friends, right, who help you out. So yeah, I don't think it is one person. Then your mom's always there. And, those things are always there.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I have a question for both of you, which popped up into my head just this second. I think it's with something else said. Or no. So if I want to start a business, I'm asking you, if I want to start a business, and a lot of people think you need money to start a business. I'm sure money cannot be defined by X amount of money is required. It is X is, anything, right? So did you all have enough money stashed away when you started business? or are you yeah, or are you on a shoestring, or bootstrapping it? How you all managing? How did you all manage? How are you all managing? How do you plan to manage money?
Stash of money, ma'am. Look at the question.
Hey, I'm coming to a ex-banker, man.
Bankers don't make money. The bank keeps the money of other people. I don't know why people think bankers make money.
So go and answer the question.
I think bootstrapped. Like every penny is in the business now. Yeah, absolutely. At least currently we are. We just recently got funded. Yeah, just got funded. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
You want to tell us how much?
Yeah, I can. I mean, we just got funded by 2 crores, so not too bad.
Whoa.
Very cool.
Okay.
Very cool.
Just like now. So yeah, so
the Collaborate Talk Show worked for you.
Sorry?
The Collaborate Talk Show worked for you. It brought you luck.
So no, because we were actually waiting to go post market. So we've now been selling for 2.5 months, not 2.5 months, 2 months, close to 2 months. So yeah, so we were a little more stronger, right? So it's easier.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. So no, I think that it depends on the kind of business you go into. Like for me, for example, when I started my business, I had no money at all. I was at zero. All I had was what I had here and what I had here. That's it. I didn't have anything else. I had to rely on my skill and my communication skill and my knowledge to get people to accept me and give me money for what I was doing for them. So for me, it was purely, I kind of had this innate belief in myself. I tell myself every time I'm at zero, I have such innate belief in myself that irrespective of whatever it is, I still climb back out. I never at any point tell myself, oh God, I'm so screwed. I have no money in the bank now. What am I going to do? Yeah. I always say that, hey, theek hai na, what's the big deal? If it's not there, it's not there. But that doesn't mean it won't come. Yeah. So all you have to do is kind of go there and push yourself and say, look, this is what I can do, and innovate, go out and reinvent yourself and say that there is no one avenue. You have to take your knowledge, which is your route, and then say, how many different directions can I go in with that? And that's how I survived, and that's how I work, because I don't come from a background which is funded. And no one funded me. My father said to me, I've educated you, now you go out and do whatever the hell you want. You're on your own. That was it. That was it. We are there to support you in everything that you do, but we're not giving you any money. That you have to go out and do for yourself. And therefore, and I've been super independent. You know what I mean? I didn't want to take money from my husband either. I told him, your account is your account, my account is my account. Yeah. I don't want to know what you do in your business, and you don't want to know what I do in my business. And we just have to, make sure that we go out and do what we have to and support ourselves. So I think reinvention is the key, and that's what I learned throughout the years. I started with one thing, but I took that base as a knowledge and tried to do different things with it. And, when no one thought it could happen, it did. I still remember the first time when I said that, I want to do workshops. This was somewhere in the mid 90s. And, I was at home, I'd had a baby, and so I wasn't working full time. And I thought, what am I going to do? And so I decided that I would do workshops at home in my house. I literally put an ad, in the midday, used to have this column of what's happening. So I said, let me just give it a shot. And I put up these things on this date. One, I would do a wine workshop, and one, I was doing a cocktail workshop. And people actually came. They actually called and registered for it. And I was in shock. I was like, oh my God, it's happening. And this is the mid 90s, okay? We're talking 95, 96. And I actually did a series of those workshops in my living room at home. And they were fantastic. And then when I told, I remember the first time I told Vikram Achanta at Taliho, I said, Chanty, we need to do this, and he said, Kaun aayega yaar? I said, karke to dekh, let's try it. We should do it. let's tie up with someone. If we can't tie up, let's just do it on our own. And we did our first ones on our own. So we said, let's just put it out there. You have a website. We've created all of this. Let's get traction on the website. Let's see what happens. Maximum kya hoga? Registration nahi aayega na. So we've not lost anything. And we put it out there and we had people, so much so that then we were able to get funded by Smirnoff and we started calling the workshop the Smirnoff Tastemaker Session. And it was one of the most successful programs that was ever run for Smirnoff anywhere in the world. So I'm saying that you need to have innate belief in what you believe in. You need to tell us, if you know, and if you believe in something 100%, you know that you will make it work for you. And I think, that's why I've never had money and I've always succeeded.
So actually, honestly speaking, I don't want to open the floor out to questions, because you guys are giving me so many more questions to ask, but I'm not going to be selfish on this one. And opening out the floor, Jarvis, Hitesh says he has a question. So if you can unmute him. And there's someone who said, don't stop at 5. I just hope you get, yeah. So Jarvis, unmute Hitesh.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Hitesh.
Yes, we'd like to see you, Hitesh.
You can put on your camera also, because you're promoted to panelists when we do this.
How do I start the camera?
Your video, you just put your video
Start
on.
video, put your video on.
So Hitesh Chawla, by the way, runs a brand called Bhagat Tarachand, and he is one of our well-wishers and always on the talk show with us.
Wow, that is so cool.
Sorry, I don't know how to start my video.
And that's
So
okay.
there's
Go
a
ahead.
little video
Question.
icon next to your mute
No,
button.
it may not be showing to him. Jarvis, can you? Anyway, go ahead, Hitesh. Ask the question.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. So my question to the panelists is, so during the lockdown, all businesses have suffered a lot, which we all know. So
Hitesh, you're on mute.
We've lost him.
No, he's gone on mute, I think.
No, we
he's
lost
not on
him.
mute.
He's here. I can see him. He's in the panelists.
Oh, he's on mute now.
Yeah.
am I audible?
Yeah, now you can be seen
Yes.
also.
Yeah. So good evening, everyone. So
Hi.
my question to the panelists is that during the lockdown, all businesses have suffered. So, but when we heard the news that wine shops are opening, I could see a kilometer-long line in front of all the wine shops. So I just want to know, has the liquor industry suffered compared to all the businesses during the lockdown? And what do you see in the future for the liquor industry? Like, I don't see there's a recession in the liquor industry, but I would like to know your opinion. Both of
I think
Kasturi?
Kasturi should take this.
I
Yeah.
should.
Yes.
I
Liquor
will also
business.
give my 2 minutes, but let Kasturi begin.
I think only 2 nations in the world stop liquor. One is India and one is South Africa. I just want to. So liquor is also directly connected to agriculture, if you know, grains.
Yes.
So when you stop liquor, it is not that you're only affecting consumption of alcohol. You're actually, can you think of the chain going down? Like your agriculture, your harvest, the whole chain is suffering. So we've
So
never
what you're
spoken
saying
about
is that people
line
who
ever.
drink are actually helping the farmers.
Absolutely. Especially those who drink Indian drinks. The ones that we are making, all the craft spirits that are out, you're definitely helping farmers.
Yes, you are helping farmers.
Okay, so
So
Shathbhi, your take.
that is one part of the story.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
And
Yeah, sorry.
ma'am should talk about the restaurant. I mean, she knows much more than me on that part. I think the current situation.
Okay, so I have to say that the spirits industry suffered greatly as well during the lockdown, because for the longest time there was no sale. A lot of this, especially when you talk of craft spirits and high-end products. So it was not just the spirits industry; it was also the importers, distributors. all of them suffered a lot because wine stores were closed. And even when wine stores opened, the restaurant and the hotel industry was shut. And the largest consumers are the hospitality industry. And when you have zero hospitality industry, you have zero sale as well. They had to come out with all kinds of innovative ways in which they could reach the consumer directly. So to actually create that whole process of getting to the consumer was also very difficult, because even when they opened, you know how chaotic it was. It's only after they came up with a system of delivery that things kind of eased out a little bit. And people were still not used to drinking alone at home. See, it was also about going out, about meeting with friends. And because they were not meeting enough people, consumption was far lower. So even when the shops opened, it was a relief, but it was still not enough, because the hospitality industry didn't open till almost October. And even when it opened, it was still very, very slow, very, very low key, as it still is. There are some who are maybe breaking protocol and trying to get in business because they want to make up for lost time. And there are others who are still following protocol. Therefore, they're still not doing well as they could. They're simply barely surviving. And we know how many people have shut down as well. So I think it was a huge cycle for everybody. And therefore, I think, the liquor industry was not spared either. Yes, for the future, when we talk about the future of the spirits industry, I think it's a very bright future, especially for craft Indian products across the spectrum, because of the fact that most of who are in the picture creating these craft spirits are young people. They are young entrepreneurs who are passionate. Unlike the old guard, they were simply businessmen. All right. For them, it was a factory. It was not a distillery. They had no concept of quality. It was just product and mass produced product. Whereas the young people today, these are all young entrepreneurs, whether it's Kasturi, whether it's Anand Virmani,
Dominic.
whether it's Rahul Mehra, Vidit, all of these people are all young people. Even if you're looking at the slightly bigger companies like, say, Amrut Distilleries, if you see Vikram, he's such a young guy. If you're looking at Paul John, he also is reasonably young and very passionate about what he does. And the reason for good quality product is passion. And the fact that they want to create a legacy of great quality product, and they want people to look at them and say, they want to change this whole perception that if it's Indian, it has to be rubbish. And we've lived with that perception for the longest time, that it has to be imported for it to be good. I think we want to change that perception now. We want to give these young people a chance, because they're working against some crazy odds. They're working against a system that is hammering them. It's like a huge wall that you keep banging your head against. And if you get that small breakthrough, you're kind of saying, oh my God, what a relief. So I think, it has a great future. I hope that we are able to make breakthroughs and change some perceptions and change the laws to make these young entrepreneurs shine and to be proud of them. As a country, we have to stop living in the past. We have to be able to accept that this is also made in India and made in India. And why should we not be proud of made in India products? And they are definitely helping farmers. They are buying grain and fruit from the country. So I think we should support these people.
Great.
And so yes, suffering was all through. Suffering was all through.
So even the liquor industry suffered, Hitesh, if that makes you feel good. A question from Rekha. I need to understand, what does an opportunity mean? Could you please help me with an example?
Kasturi, give the example of your opportunity. You're on mute, babes.
Sorry. What is an opportunity? I really don't know how to answer this question. An opportunity doesn't kind of come to you. There are things actually right in front of you. You have to figure out which is the one, which is your opportunity. So I really don't know how to answer this question. But ma'am, I think if you help
No,
me-
I will try. Let me try.
okay,
Dominic.
go ahead.
Let me try.
Yes.
So when you say what exactly is an opportunity, it's when you see something that's in front of you. It's when you see something, it's like an opening. All right. It's like an opening. And you're looking at saying, should I go there? And if you know that what you're seeing is in sync with what you already know about yourself, then that's an opportunity for you to go out and discover more. I'll give you a couple of examples of opportunity. It's like what I said, that I know my spirit, I know my wines, I know how to mix, I teach. And that's why I saw that, because I worked, I saw the opportunity that consumers, people who came to my bars, were very curious about spirits, were very curious about products, and they had no idea how to get the answers that they want. I saw that as an opportunity, and I took the opportunity saying, hey, let me open up my world to them. Let me say, would you like to learn how to mix a drink at home? Would you like to understand whiskey better? Or would you like me to show you how to appreciate wine, or to even understand what it's all about? Is there a mystery? Can I demystify it for you? That was an opportunity because I saw the opening. So every time you see an opening, you look at it and say, can I do something here that will both make me happy and someone else happy as well? So it's an opportunity that you take. So every time you see something, your mind has to be open and willing to experiment and to explore something. That for me is an opportunity. Be open to exploring. Don't block yourself and say, no, this I can't do. Give yourself a chance. Anyone can see opportunity, even if you're sitting at home. Look at the opportunity that young people and women have taken during the lockdown of cooking at home, all kinds of things. And they have become almost restaurant class in the way they have experimented. That was an opportunity. They looked at it and said, maybe I can try, use social media like Instagram, or even within my own WhatsApp groups. If I live in a colony, can I put it in WhatsApp to people in the colony to say, I'm going to be cooking this on Sunday. Would you like some? So opportunity is something that will come in all forms. Your mind has to simply be open to see it.
Okay,
and to grab
so
it.
Yeah.
we've got a couple of questions, and Jarvis, just check. Vanessa had put a hand up if she wants to speak. Anyway, I'm going to club a couple of questions because we've got a lot of questions, and requesting you all to tighten up the answers because we are already on time now.
Okay.
So I'm going to club the questions. How can one start a business, and how is it exactly you did? What is it exactly you did to grow your business? What part did you exactly pick? And then the question I'm going to club it with: do you need investment to be successful? So how do you start a business? Do you need investment to start it? How did you grow your business? What part did you exactly pick?
So you have two distinctly different business models. One that, yes, will benefit from investment, and the other one which will grow irrespective of investment. You're seeing two completely different people here. So both work for me.
Okay, that was a very sharp answer. So just to interpret for the audience, on one side, we have Kasturi, who needs large amount of investments to grow her business. Other side, you have Shatbhi Basu, who started, like she said, with nothing. Both, of course, you can tell, have passion. So I think the answer is there. What do you want to do? Okay. Jarvis, did you check if Vanessa wants to be unmuted? Okay. Would like to learn more about alcoholic beverages. That's from Vanessa. 1 second. Where is it? Would like to learn more about alcoholic beverages from the senior panelists in there. Oh, no. Is there? No, her question is not complete.
Okay.
But I think what she's trying to say is, how would she learn more about alcoholic beverages? Is there some platform or some place you go to?
There are actually multiple platforms that you can go to. There's so much information out there. The point is to begin at a point where you start at one point to say, what is it that I'm looking for? Start with one thing and then keep expanding your knowledge profile. Talk to people like me, Kasturi, and there are many more people like us. And you know, Google is wide open. So start with something. And if you want correct answers, then start with looking at brand sites. You know, that's a great way to start learning. So for
Brand
example,
sites.
yes, go to the Smirnoff site. Start with 5 of your favorite spirits and then go to their brand sites, because you will get absolutely good quality information there. And once you've done that, you can start opening it up to other sites, which will give you some great information.
Thank you.
Look at top
ma'am.
magazines that will give you some great information. But because not every information on Google is correct, there's a lot of not so great information also, which will mislead you.
Okay, so Vanessa was saying thank you to you. I don't think you caught that. And just some trivia on Vanessa. She's a Bombay girl who's moved to Goa. She started a restaurant in Goa. In fact, her husband's a great musician. Vanessa's a great chef. So Kasturi, maybe you and Vanessa should catch up. I'll connect you later.
Thanks, Dominic.
Thanks, Vanessa. And okay, so now let me see if we can pull in any more questions. How do you balance your relationship while... sorry, there was a call coming in. Okay, how do you balance your relationship while being ambitious about the profession? From Sakshi Desai, how do you balance your relationship while being ambitious about your profession? Nice. Woman to woman. Woman to women.
Go, Kasturi.
I've been married for 12 years now. So I think both both have careers, right? So this question is for the man also, right? How do you manage the relationship? It should not be only hanging on the neck of a woman. That, how are you managing? Because it's always like that, isn't? How are you running the house? How are you managing the relationship? I think we're married for 12 years. I think that speaks for itself.
Some tip, come on.
Weekends, don't try and do at least one meal out, so that, I'm just giving you things which you can do. I mean, that's what I have done. You have same sets of friends, so if you hang out together, that works. What else, ma'am? I don't know. I mean,
Shathbhi, you'll be 12 years for sure.
Oh boy. So yeah, of course I'll be 12 years. Dominic, I've been married for almost 40 years, 40. So yeah. And I think what I learned is never talk about business when you're at home. That helps. We don't discuss business ever. We don't bring work home ever. Yes, we have same set of friends, and we also have different sets of friends. So we give ourselves a little space. If we have friends that are different, it's time every once in a while to say, okay, you go hang with your friends, I go hang with mine. You don't have to do everything together, but always find a little time to yourself. Give yourself a break every now and again, whether it's going out for a meal, whether it's going off for a weekend, whether it's just chilling at home together or cooking together. It doesn't matter what, but the idea is to keep lines of communication open all the time. The point is to communicate. Even if you're super busy, you have to still communicate. So if your lines of communication are open, it kind of, finds a way to balance out. And every time you feel you need a break, you should take it, not be, stupid about it. So yes, career is very important, but I took a break in my career when I had a kid. I literally did not work for almost full-time for almost 10 years. But I used those 10 years to develop new skills. So in fact, that's the time when I learned how to write. That's the time I discovered that I had skills in writing. So even though I was at home with my baby, I started writing for newspapers, writing for trade journals, then even went up to a point where I became the associate editor for a trade journal and writing on spirits and wine. So, it's all about again, opportunity, using your knowledge to create new avenues for yourself. And therefore, you have to decide what is right for you and what is wrong for you. If you feel, and I can tell you that when I stopped working, there were times when I wanted to, scream because I was just not used to not working. But you find that balance somewhere. You find that balance. I'm not saying there won't be ups and there won't be downs. Yes. But if you have a line of communication that's open, if you're able to have a conversation and be honest with each other, I think you survive almost anything.
Great. So Sakshi's got a hand up, Jervis. You want to check if she wants to speak? Or Sakshi? Yeah, go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Hello, ma'am. Hello, sir. I'm Sakshi Desai. I'm a student from SRIHM Mumbai, and I'm 18-year-old. Okay.
Okay.
So am I.
Oh yeah, sir. I heard you. So actually, ma'am, the question was that even like I have been planning on being a chef since I was 12 years old, and I have been, pretty towards that. I have been very ambitious about it and everything. So that has kind of, affected my relationships a lot. So when it comes to, choosing between one thing, so like when it comes to choosing between, what do you choose, your relationship or your career? So it's like choosing between your emotions and practicality. So how do you deal with that?
You're only 18.
Something, that's what I love of this question. I love this question. And no, Shathbhi, what I would like you to do is to address it properly.
I am going
because
to.
Because it's coming at 18, she's getting a problem between career and relationship. Wow. So, I just love your question, Sakshi.
I know, that's why I'm addressing it. And honestly, let me say one thing to you. There are a few things about relationships that you must understand, Sakshi. One is, if there is a relationship that does not allow you to be who you are, then that relationship is worth nothing. Because a good relationship allows people to grow and allows them to follow their dreams. If a relationship does not allow you to follow your dreams, that's a relationship you don't want. At 18, you want to focus on yourself, you want to focus on your education, and you definitely want to focus on your career. Relationships will come, relationships will go. Relationships that are meant to be will stay. If they're not meant to be, they won't. You can feel bad about it, you can cry a couple of buckets, and that's fine. As long as you have good friends with you to help you through it, and family with you to help you through it, you'll be fine. So don't worry too much about relationships at 18. Okay, if there is pressure, then it's not a good relationship. Nobody should put pressure on you at 18, or in fact at any stage, I would say. Not just at 18. If somebody put pressure at me, even at my age, and I am not young, okay, I'm not young. But even today, if somebody put pressure on me in a relationship, I would probably just walk out. I'm terrible that way. I would just look and say, stop, not happening. So relationships, you must understand, are very important, but they're not so important that they bog you down. Anything that bogs you down is not a good relationship. So do not ever feel guilty about pursuing your career, about pursuing your passion, because that is what you need to do right now. Imagine if you didn't pursue your passion because you were feeling guilty about spending too much time on your work, getting better at what you do, and then the relationship ended. What would you do? You'd feel miserable that you let go of such a great opportunity of learning for this. And therefore I'm saying again and again, and this is something that I have told my daughter as well. So it's not just you. I said the same thing to my daughter. For you to be able to be independent, to stand on your own two feet, and to be proud of who you are, of yourself, is more important than any relationship that you could build at age 18, 19, and 20. A good relationship will come when you yourself are confident of yourself and are proud of yourself. That's when good relationships happen. That's my take on the story.
Yeah, I know.
So
I just
great.
feel if there's a relationship which doesn't accept what you like, there is no relationship.
Exactly.
So I think both of you would make great agony aunts. Really good, really good advice. And I also agree, coming from a male also, if there's a relationship that does not allow you to do what you want in life, what relationship is that? Anyway, all good things must come to an end. And I'm going to start wrapping up, although there are a couple of questions still on the screen. I'll have to ignore them. Just to tell you that what both Kasturi and Shathbhi said, and this is the meat of this show, the Collaborate Talk Show. I'll give you a little background on it. We started an app that connects people, freelance individuals, people who are passionate about what they do, to organizations. And I found it very strange that when we started this app, I thought it was a fantastic idea, right? That's why I did start it. And I found people worried about how will they earn, how will they get security, how will they had so many doubts. And I was thinking to myself that in 1990, when I started off my career, I did gigs. And we didn't call them gigs at that time. Kasturi's done gigs, Shathbhi's done gigs. And I don't think I ever worried about where my next meal is going to come from. You just sort of believed in yourself and went out and did it. Today, I have people, they tell me, oh no, I've got 30 years experience, I've got 25 years experience. And they're afraid of putting their skills out there and marketing and selling it. Then what skills do you have? If you're afraid that people will not buy you, then you obviously don't have the skills. I would not want to buy you. You don't believe in yourself. Why will I buy you? They're looking for permanent jobs that at the end of the month, they want a fixed salary. So this got me going. And that's why we started this Collaborate Talk Show. And I've been meeting the most amazing people. I swear, I just love this show myself. Because there are people like Kasturi, Shathbhi, we've had Prahlad Kakkar, we've had so many eminent speakers, Vikram Kamath. And all of them are talking about living their passion. And people say, we need money. You don't need money. Here's Shathbhi on the screen. Here's Kasturi on the screen, who's raised the money. That means she didn't have it, right? She got it out from there. I started my business with 350 rupees.
That's how you sell your skill.
Exactly. That's how you sell your skill. And on opportunity, before I wind up, I have a very interesting incident that took place just a few minutes ago. So standing at my window, there's a coconut tree out there. And sitting under the coconut tree, I didn't know what had happened. There was a man who got up and he started rubbing his head. But I've already given you a hint. He was rubbing his head. And apparently a coconut had probably fallen and grazed his head. He was not dead, right? He was watching it. And another gentleman walked over, and I thought he's coming to help the guy out. But what does he do? He picks up the coconut and he tosses it to his friends. And then he goes behind the bush and he takes out one more coconut which had fallen and he tosses it to his friends. Now, this is opportunity. It struck this man on his head. What's he doing? He's getting up and rubbing his head. Somebody else comes along, picks up that opportunity, and later on they're tearing that coconut apart and they've enjoyed that coconut. This is what happens with us. We have opportunity, hit us on the head, and we wonder what the shit's happening. And someone comes along, picks up that opportunity and walks off. Now, this pandemic is an opportunity because many of you have lost jobs. This is the opportunity you're waiting for. This is their excuse. You can go to your family and say, listen, there are no permanent jobs. That's why I'm trying out gigs. You don't need that excuse, but you can even try it out. Do something you're passionate about, man. Go out there, live your life, enjoy it. One life, make it larger. I'm not selling rum here. Right? So great having you.
But we don't
mind
if you do. We don't mind if you do. So Kasturi used the pandemic.
I'm going to put I'm going to put
she used the
your closing lines.
I'm
putting the closing lines across to you. Kasturi and Shathbhi, your closing lines on the pandemic, on your lives, 2 minutes, and then we wind up. So 2 minutes each. Go ahead.
I'll start with opportunity. And ma'am was trying to talk about pandemic, and actually I took the pandemic as an opportunity. It was so easy to get into a depression because, I had November 2020 in mind to launch. I could have easily said, dude, it's not happening this year. Got into depression. I don't know, just binged on ice cream and Netflix. I could have done that. So, but I thought, fantastic. We were working on few things together. I was working with ma'am on a few things together, but very, very little things. I was trying to do at my best. But what I really felt the pandemic kind of taught us is that you can stay at home very easily. If you put your mind to something, focus on it, you can achieve it. I think the kind of knowledge-based sessions which were going on during the pandemic throughout the day, there were DIG academies. Ma'am, you were doing some sessions. There was Tully who were doing sessions. There were so many people. it was a fantastic, what I understand with bartenders and at least the F&B community, there's no time. They always complain about time, right? Hafte mein ek din chutti, that's also gone sleeping. So I think and a lot of people launched their businesses. Varun did his bar bundle. I mean, I think so many people did great, great, great things. So I think, so pandemic, it's an opportunity. I took it as an opportunity. I worked towards it. It worked. Second is, I think focus and determination, what ma'am was saying. I think put your head onto something. Find that one thing where you can figure out and you can excel, matching your skills. Like today, I can't go and say, I want to be a gymnast. I mean, I can maybe. But, can I really, really do it the way I want to? I probably will not be able to, right? So be grounded, know your skills, channelize that skill. So yeah,
Shathbhi.
Thank you.
So yes, I also took the pandemic as an opportunity instead of sitting at home the first few weeks. Of course, I just thought it was so exciting to do nothing, and then suddenly it was April, and I said, "Oh God, for how long will I do nothing?" And then I started, talking to people. So many of the bartenders started calling me up. They were depressed. They were talking, didn't know what to do. Here I was, calming them down, giving them advice, telling them what to do. I said, okay, we need to do some seminars now to help them find their way, to tell them to look at it as an opportunity to study, to enhance their skills, because they'll never have time like this ever. And then I thought to myself that, listen, I better practice what I preach. So I thought, what the hell am I doing? I'm not doing anything except telling other people what to do. And that's when I decided to start writing again. And I thought, maybe I should write a book again. I've been wanting to do it for the longest time. I've kind of taken it up, dropped it over the last 5-8 years. And I thought, listen, this is the best time I'm ever going to get to finish it. I'm at home. There's nothing for me to do. I can focus on it 100%. And that's what I did. I actually took the opportunity and I completed a book. And I thought, in fact, I did the exact opposite of what people expected me to do. They expected me to write a book on spirits and wines and alcohol. And I went the exact opposite route and wrote a book on non-alcoholic drinks. Because nobody had given that kind of focus to non-alcoholic drinks. And I thought, there are so many people who don't drink. Why should we not give them an opportunity? So I spent the next 4 or 5 months actually writing a whole book on alcohol-free drinks. Then I spent 2 months doing the photography for those drinks, and then learned how to publish a book, because I had no clue how to publish a book. But I learned all of that during the lockdown, during the pandemic. I learned everything. I sat with my printers. I understood everything. I looked at papers. I understood printing. And finally, by November, I actually had a book that was photographed, edited, printed, and ready. And I was so excited. And I thought, wow, the pandemic is like 6 months over already. So I think that's what you need to do. Look at every challenge as an opportunity to do something new. And if you look for that opportunity and take it as a challenge to do something different, I think we can survive almost anything.
Almost anything. We've survived the pandemic. So thank you very much, Shathbhi and Kasturi, for being on the show. I know you all had to struggle to get out this time. Great having
no struggle at all. She has struggle. I have no struggle.
I have no.
In fact, I'm glad, because it took my mind off stuff, because I actually had my vaccination yesterday, and I woke up in the morning feeling really miserable. I woke up feeling awful. I woke up with this horrible body ache and,
Okay, don't scare us. Some of us haven't taken the vaccine
yet. No, it's not bad. So yesterday, the whole day I was absolutely normal. Today, I just felt slightly creaky. But you can see me now, right? You've seen me through this whole thing. Do I look like I'm ill?
No, you look fab.
So
it just took my mind off it.
So Shathbhi, we'll have to wind up now, although we're having
alcohol for a month.
Sorry?
Yes, she has to be.
Drink alcohol for a month.
Yes, 30 days.
Bullshit. No such thing. There is no such thing.
There is such a thing.
Rumor, Dominic.
Okay.
Rumor, Dominic.
I'll take you on that anyway. So thank you very much for being.
None of the doctors have said that yet.
Okay. So thank you very much, Shathbhi. Shathbhi, I tried to wind up.
Don't, yeah.
Sweet. I tried to wind up anyway. So this is the first show we've gone on this slate, and we've kept the audience gripped. So great going. Thank you very much. I really wish I didn't have to open it out to Q&A because I was enjoying talking to you all. And we'll keep in touch. And everybody stay tuned. Next Friday, same time we'll meet. God bless. Keep rocking.
Thank you so
Shathbhi.
much.
Thanks, Kasturi.
Bye.
Thank you, Dominic.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Bye.